Everybody is saying, well, it's got to be him. What if somebody said, what a great way of framing David? Look at what David's done. He's written a song called Romantic Homicide. He's got this imagery with a bloody shirt, right? He wrote a song about being obsessed with Celeste, right? People saw him with Celeste.
Internet are now beginning to wonder if David is truly innocent, since we're beginning to construct a fairly solid timeline and will be receiving a lot of new data, and it doesn't appear like David has actually done it. Let's get started. First, I'm going to play the entire TMZ clip from the introduction because he makes some excellent points. In case you were unaware, that individual is Harvey Levon, who is TMZ's founder or CEO. Furthermore, TMZ has been following this subject since it first surfaced. Let me tell you, all of the confidential material from the unique sources has been provided to us by them. They are now claiming to have evidence that might clear David's name. The big guy at TMZ is now speculating that he might not be guilty. I'll just play a little.
Okay, I want to open a can of worms here. There is an impound report that shows that the car that had Celeste's body in it, that was parked on Doheny Drive, was first ticketed for being there. It was there since August 26th, when it was first ticketed. And if it was ticketed, it must have been there even before that. It seems like that car was parked on that street for 2 weeks. How is that car sitting there for 2 weeks? Was it sitting there with a body for 2 weeks? David left for tour August 5th. So let me just make an argument to you. If you were David, look at what David's done. He's written a song called Romantic Homicide. He's got this imagery with a bloody shirt, right? He wrote a song about being obsessed with Celeste. People saw him with Celeste. What if? And I don't know. Somebody said, what a great way of framing David. What a great way of framing David. You put a body of this girl that he was dating in his car and leave it there to get towed with all that evidence. Young Jackson is nodding yes.
I am nodding yes because this has been my theory for like the past week, and I've had people call me crazy. There is such a short window of time to where he could have killed her, dismembered her body, and left for tour.
He was gone August 5th.
He wasn't in the city. He wasn't in the city.
But here's the thing. Think about if he did it. You're going to leave a body in your car on a street for 2 weeks knowing eventually it's going to get towed and found.
Now you guys what he's talking about when he mentions the parking ticket. This is David's Tesla, assuming you're looking at the screen. Here are the photos that the parking guy took of his car, showing the damage, etc. And on August 26th, he issued him a ticket for parking his automobile in an inappropriate location. As we all know, he did so far from his home. For comparison's sake, the vehicle was inspected on the 26th and was first seen on the 27th. He thus received the first ticket at that time. On the 3rd, he received another citation, and on the 5th, the vehicle was towed and seized. Accordingly, the officer was the only one who saw the car for the first time on the 26th. Accordingly, that vehicle might have been present on the 23rd, 24th, 25th, or 26th. More so, in my opinion, a day or two before to that, perhaps the 24th or 25th. Now, David, on August 5th, he went on tour. His trip of the USA began at that point. However, in actuality, he didn't return until the girl was recognized, which was about a week after the body was found. Having gone for the tour on the 5th, the body was found on the 13th or 14th. I would say he was absent for almost the whole month of August, though I believe he may have been gone a little earlier. That doesn't, nonetheless, completely absolve him, because I'll make it appear simpler for you people if we really examine his tour dates. He had Silver Springs on the 23rd and Philadelphia on the 22nd, with a 3-day hiatus between Silver Springs and Cleveland. He had the option to wrap up the Silver Springs show, fly back, spend the 24th and 25th in Los Angeles at his residence, and then depart for the Cleveland event on the 25th or the morning of the 26th. Therefore, it is still quite plausible that he killed her on the 24th or 25th, parked the car, and then 1 or 2 days later, on the 26th, the automobile was seized. But as this man stated in the comments, it's strange that the caller only noted a large dent in the rear. No mention of an odor. Naturally, Teslas have cameras, as we all know. But I've heard a lot of people complain that they don't record continuously, and that you need a specific USB drive to make it record continuously and other things. Oh, it's fine, is what all the commenters are saying. The tapes will be given to the LAPD. In any case, I don't believe the Tesla is constantly recording. That would be nearly impossible. Even if it's hosted in the cloud, you would still need a lot of storage, and that storage is expensive. Let's now discuss that TMZ Reddit post's comments. This is what people are saying about a TMZ tape that was posted on Reddit. For him to say he could have been framed and not that he got someone to do it is crazy. And once more, to reiterate what this commenter states, don't care if he did it or not, he still dated a 13-year-old girl, even if the defense is she lied about her age. Clearly, if he was paying people off in 2024, he V out her age if she was lying and continued being seen with her sins. If not murder, he needs to get charged with something. I'm not claiming he's blameless for grooming and being a P-word, folks. He still has a strong affection for cupcakes and cats. My main problem with the murder is how obvious it would be if he did it because he wrote songs about her that showed his obsession with her. That's why I'm talking about it more. I have the song Romantic Homicide. He has a lot of songs and music videos in which he talks about or depicts someone being killed and then placed in a car's trunk in similar scenes. In case you were unaware, these men were essentially dating in public. In this piece, TMZ actually interviewed David's buddies, and this is what they had to say. Friends who partied with and knew singer David were under the impression Celeste Rivas was his girlfriend, and were shocked when news came out. Celeste was only 14 sources who party in the LA music scene tell TMZ they saw David and Celeste at parties and hangouts, and it appeared to them they were a couple. Thus, everyone in the scene was aware of their relationship, even though she was officially his girlfriend, not to the general public, as in the case of the fans, but to those who were in the vicinity of the music scene. They just had a romantic relationship, and now she's found dead in his car's trunk. It would be quite clear that he did. We're told some of them were under the impression she was a student at USC, which is like a college. The friends believe Celeste was around 19 years old and presented herself as such. Because it's so clear, that's why it's so confusing. His girlfriend is that person. She was discovered dead in his car's trunk. That's why the man at TMZ was speculating that he might have been set up. He is the ideal subject for framing. Check out this Reddit post now. Could this really be his Tesla key? Found literally right in front of his house this morning. I live pretty close to David's place. Just wanted to go check out the area, and ended up finding this Tesla key right in the gutter behind some leaves. Just spotted a Tesla letter shining out from under the leaves. This is really strange now. Here is his Tesla key, and David's home is here. That doesn't look like David's house. Or at least I believe it's the neighborhood. The man now claimed to have given it to the police for examination. Currently, a man in the remarks stated, "Okay, so is this why the car got towed? Someone was moving it every 3 days for him so the car wouldn't get a parking violation while he was out of town on tour. That person lost their access key and so they couldn't move it anymore. The person did not inform David that they have lost the key, or they did let him know, and he just thought it wouldn't be that big of a deal, or could have come up with a way to handle the situation. He probably didn't have someone to move the automobile for him, since he could have just parked the car in front of the home or in his garage. I doubt anyone wants to get involved in this murder." Now, there is a valid point made by someone regarding the whole idea that he is innocent. That means someone else would need a motive to kill her, and also the keys to his car. I'm not buying it. Alright, this post regarding the parking problem is excellent. August 23rd is a Saturday, so there was no sweep, and the LA do Monday to Friday bi-weekly. If Dane swept Wednesdays, check streets LA City. So this guy checked when they do the sweeps. Last sweep was August 20th. Car parked around 2 weeks, August 6th to 20th, likely moved in post-sweep on August 6th, 7th. So he moved his car after the sweep around the 6th or the 7th, which lines up with his August 7th departure. He went on tour, that is, he therefore had a gap on the 7th, Del Mar and Phoenix. Del Mar and Phoenix are, after all, somewhat close. I'm currently browsing Google Maps, California, thus, it would take an hour and a half to get to Los Angeles. That's close. Then, after that, it's a 5-hour trip from Phoenix, Arizona to Los Angeles. He probably took a plane, but it's close enough that he could return that same day. And he had a gap on the 7th, in particular. After the Phoenix event, he could have taken a plane back. So give it a minute. Thus, the sweep came to an end on the 6th. He might have returned on the 7th following the Phoenix gig, killed her then, and parked the car on the 7th, which would have coincided with his departure on the 7th of August. Yes, precisely. A gap exists. August 7. In order to avoid receiving a ticket or citation, he was essentially moving the entire car around, as the remainder of this post explains. But I don't know, guys. Framing someone is just crazy when you really think about it. For example, who would murder Celeste? This little girl. Why would someone murder this young girl at random? It is completely nonsensical. Because consider it, even if we examine David's actions. While he was on tour, the body was found. He continued to fling lab booze into the crowd and perform as if nothing had happened while he was on tour. However, wouldn't you feel a little sad and spooked out if you discovered that your girlfriend had died and had been placed inside your car? For example, if I discovered a body in my car's trunk while traveling across the nation, I would post something along the lines of, "Ah, guys, I have no idea what happened. Yabba yabba yabba." However, that simply doesn't make sense. Wouldn't he say something like, "Oh, I'm sorry at the passing of my friend Celeste," especially if he was innocent? Naturally, he is unable to acknowledge that he was friends with someone, or even that that person was his girlfriend. Although he kind of can't acknowledge it, I do not believe he was set up, since anyone would kill this little girl. People are already speculating that he might not be guilty because he didn't put the body in his car's trunk. We did in fact watch a video, in one of my previous films, We saw a little clip featuring this detective or investigator. He replied, yeah, a lot of first-time murderers. They put the bodies in the trunk of their car because they just don't know where else to put it. So, yes.
I've already seen some of the conspiracy theories come out, and one of the questions I saw is, who would be stupid enough to put the dead body in the trunk of their own car? And the answer to that is most murderers. Most people, especially when they kill for the first time, make a million mistakes. And
I understand this theory, but there are men who have murdered their wife and kids. So, I think if you're truly crazy, then common sense is not being used. Indeed, I believe it is pointless to attempt to comprehend David's behavior because, in all honesty, we are unable to do so given that he is dating a young girl and has now allegedly murdered her. Therefore, I don't think we can reverse engineer his thinking or psychology or anything like that. This man has a solid theory. I suppose David had a whole entourage who stayed with him, parted with him, and hung around him, including Celeste. How possible is it that while he was on tours, they were taking drugs and she overdosed? Then they panicked, and to avoid being charged themselves, they hid her in David's car so he could take the blame. It explains why she would be in his car for that long with David showing absolutely no urgency to try and hide her with the body just waiting to be discovered. Now that you think about it, that is a good point. The coroner or the medical staff, I can't remember their names, have already examined her body and found no cause for her passing. Because consider it, the only thing we're waiting on right now is a toxology report, which I'm fairly certain is different from them actually looking for bruises or broken bones. So if there had been a slit to her throat, she had been stabbed, her skull was broken, I don't know, her neck was broken, something along those lines, you know. From strangulation, they would have discovered it already, since they have already handed the body to the family. I'm very certain they have already completed all of the physical examinations. They are simply awaiting the completion of the actual sciencey experiment material, which could take several months. Therefore, don't expect that anytime soon. This supports the hypothesis that she overdosed because, if there were no physical markings or damage to her body would have been severely decomposed, making it possible that they couldn't notice. However, it's possible that they hid her body in fear after she owed. I will give you guys another excellent video that I have from TMZ.
To spend the rest of his life in a prison.
Maybe he did do it and wants to be caught. Again, we don't know.
I just said, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he did or didn't do it. All I'm saying is, we're all coming up with theories.
Yeah.
And yeah, one is he did, but there's another that he didn't. Boy, you want to frame somebody?
Put it in, yep.
Boom.
Put it in the car.
Boom.
And also, the car was moved as well, right? Am I getting that right?
Well, we don't know where it was between August 5th and around August 26th, because August 26th was when they found it when they ticketed it on the street. Again, it may have been there days before, but I know that street because I lived on that street, and they have street cleaning once a week, and they ticket you if you keep your car there.
That's the problem. He must have been constantly relocating his car, or perhaps he just got off the tour and relocated it himself. Or he may have hired someone to do it for him. I'm not sure. We simply don't have a specific timeline. The precise dates are unknown to us. It's really unclear.
Everybody is saying, well, it's got to be him. Or not everybody, but a lot of people. But all I'm saying is he saying, catch me?
Possibly.
Well, I mean, if it is him, he's got to be saying "Catch Me" because he's written a song. He's written two songs.
Well, hang on. So, "Romantic Homicide" and "Celeste," both of those songs. We have a general idea from a few videos that it's possible she was alive about a month ago, right? "Romantic Homicide" was released 3 years ago, and
he had been. I got to tell you, he might have been seeing her since 23.
Oh yeah, no, he possibly could have been dating her when he was 17 and she was even younger.
Yes.
But "Romantic Homicide" was released 3 years ago, and that song about Celeste was released way before she was killed.
No, I know, but did he know her then?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty sure he did.
So when you've got that on your ledger, and you got, and like we did yesterday when you were part of the story as we were working on it, that they were at parties and everybody thought they were boyfriend, girlfriend, and everybody thought she was 19. So, he's not hiding her and everybody knows he's dating her, all the circle of friends, and he does what? Kills her? Puts her in his car and just leaves it? And if you go to the trouble of dismembering, I know this is gruesome, isn't that somebody who wants to hide the crime?
Exactly.
So then why wouldn't you burn that, bury that, hide that? But instead you put it in your trunk and leave.
Someone actually asked me, why has it not been ruled as a homicide yet? So I'm gonna go into that. So I'm gonna try to keep certain words out just for the sake of TikTok like banning me or flagging me, but manner of death is categories of death. So you have accidental, homicide, natural, undetermined, etc. And your cause of death is exactly what caused your death. So if it was an accidental death, it could have been a car accident. If it was a natural death, it could have been cancer. And in this case, she went down as undetermined because her body is too far in the decomposition process to know exactly what caused her death.
Whoa, I am aware that we switched between clips. After that other TMZ footage, I didn't even say anything because I thought, I'll watch it and see what she says. When this one appeared, however, she raises a really valid point that I kind of brought up earlier. They are unable to identify the cause of death. As I previously stated, they would have undoubtedly made a decision and included it on her report if they had known that she had been stabbed, that her head had been shattered, or anything else. However, her report simply states undetermined. Therefore, no stab wounds or damaged organs were discovered. Perhaps they didn't discover that though, since the person who placed the body in the trunk was extremely fortunate to leave it there for a long enough period of time for them to be unable to identify the perpetrator. Thus, all we're really awaiting is her toxicology report, which I'm not sure what that provides. But I suppose they may determine whether she overdosed or perhaps provide us with a cause of death or something similar. As stated by this man, looks like it's only up to CCTV or car or some other hard evidence like a phone recorder, as it's obvious that her body isn't providing them anything. This post is nice now. I can see a way David ends up getting a few years for this, as it's obvious that her body isn't providing them anything. This post is nice now. When the story first broke, I honestly thought he was headed for a death sentence. Abusing and killing a young girl is absolutely insane. The more I think about it, and the more it comes out. However, and I hate to say this, but I think he may actually do the impossible and escape of a life sentence. There's definitely a reason he hasn't been arrested yet, and why the police haven't yet said this is a murder investigation, despite Celeste's autopsy being done many days ago now. This essentially states that there is no precise time of death, and that David might not have been in the area. Based on the information that is currently available, in any case, the lawyers can take advantage of a timer, and David has been on tour. In any case, additionally, it's possible that she overdosed and died, in which case a murder prosecution is dropped. In conclusion, they may decide not to arrest him at all. Or, if they do, they might arrest him for, I don't know, tampering with a corpse because I know they were dating. However, I believe it would be very difficult to prove they had actually done the things because they might charge him with kidnapping. But what if the family knew she was with him, and they let him go with her? Perhaps he paid the family, in which case that could be another charge. How can they prove they actually had an Charleston White asked in a good clip that I obtained? Oh, I see. I'll play the video for you all.
Okay, but Unc, what about the vivid video of him and the 13-year-old linking up?
So, how can we prove they had sexual intercourse?
What were they doing, Unc? Playing Fortnite, bro? Come on.
No, listen. Me and you know that. The police know that.
Oh, I see. You're talking about the police. How do you prove it? I see.
The evidence to convict him.
Okay, so we gotta just wait and see what happens, bro.
All I keep telling everybody, but why would they let a black man in America? If we really believe the police is against us, that we're going through injustices, what black man gets to walk around in America and tour as a millionaire when all the evidence says he's guilty? They let Diddy do it.
That's true.
So I'm saying only maybe somebody else killed this kid because he even went to the police station to talk to the police.
Therefore, unless they uncover a real murder weapon, I believe it would be extremely difficult for the authorities to prove that he killed her. Once more though, they had previously examined his home in case they discovered a murder weapon, a blood-stained knife, an axe, or something else entirely. In any case, you understand, they would have undoubtedly already taken him into custody. An instrument of murder within his home. His automobile contained the body. They swept his house instead of arresting him. Nothing. The body was discovered in his trunk. Nothing. Once more, I am aware that they are examining his equipment, performing tests such as DNA, and creating a toxicology report, but I am unsure. Guys, I'm not sure. We will need to wait and find out. Please share your opinions in the comments section below. Is David innocent, or did he do it? We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. And I'll see you all at the next one, I guess. Be careful.